to the first episode of the aX-m podcast. I am your host, Naded. That's Nahded. Today I'm joined by a good friend of mine. His name is Steven, but you probably already know him as Splurky. That's spelled Splurky. Thanks for being here today, brother. How the hell are you?
Thanks for having me. Doing all right. Doing pretty good right now. Lots of things going on. Lots of exciting things going on stream. Having a good time, hanging out.
Excellent. That's what we want to hear. So, brother, let's go ahead and dive right into it. Tell everyone what got you into streaming and what are you currently streaming?
Well, what got me into streaming was there are a lot of things. So, like playing games, like everybody else, but I like being able to I like to be able to stay involved in the community or like make my own community for the games that I really love, and they're all pretty niche. And if you guys see me streaming on Twitch, then you'll notice that basically my entire channel is revolved around Monster Hunter, and I'll have like some Dark Souls splashed in here or there, mainly like, boss hunting stuff. But I don't know. I wanted to bring people together that maybe didn't have that friend group to play with. Like they were more like solo players. But then like once they like get into my group and they're like they get the option to have more people to play with, and just brings people together to have a good time. It's a good feeling to be able to like see that happening in my Discord and have people go from being strangers that were just randoms popping into my chat to becoming people I would consider to be friends at this point.
Yeah, right on. So you mentioned Monster Hunter and Dark Souls. In the future, are we going to see you stream anything else?
Well, that's a good question, because I haven't really thought about that far ahead, because a lot of the games that are coming out don't really appeal to me. I've been playing Monster Hunter since day one, so I've been playing Monster Hunter for about 15 years. So I'm probably never going to drop this game. So as long as they keep making a new one, I'm probably going to keep playing and streaming as it like continues on until it just eventually stops. And then I'll be sad, but as when Elden Ring finally drops, I don't know if you heard anything about that, but
vaguely.
Once FromSoft and R.R. Martin.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that I have heard on it. I haven't looked too much into it. Something that I did see that looked pretty cool was, I think it was called Demon Souls or something. It was basically, it's kind of based off of the Dark Souls creators and everything.
Doing a remaster. It was the first one.
Yeah.
Demon Souls was the first of the Souls series. And they're doing a remaster. Sadly, very sadly, it is a PS5 exclusive, which breaks my heart because I wanted to play that on PC so badly. But yeah, Demon Souls is going to be PS5 exclusive. I might buy one. Maybe. It depends on if they get any like exclusive Monster Hunter stuff, and if it's spicy enough, then I might buy it. Might. But for the most part, sticking to PC. But I do play on PS4 as well. A little shout out to the console Monster Hunter players. Sometimes, very rarely, like haven't done it yet, because the majority of my viewers do play on PC. But I do have Monster Hunter available for me to play with my viewers on PS4 as well. To pop in, help people out, get some with like getting gear and stuff that they want. All my speed runs mostly do come from PC, just because of superior loading times and whatnot. But there are a few smaller tournaments that some people host that are console only that I have tried to participate in, but sometimes you swing and a miss.
Now, what does a Monster Hunter tournament look like? What does that mean exactly?
Well, there was the North America Championship that happened in Boston earlier this year, and I was gonna go. I had the money saved up. I had I had everything ready to go, but I just couldn't find a partner in time to go. And like, you can't go in without a partner. And I didn't and if I didn't have a friend that wanted to go, then I just didn't want to go and just like meet someone random on Reddit and then go. I would rather like be able to like share the room and share the experience and go down like a day before. But essentially there they had like it was kind of like a normal Halo tournament or like any other normal tournament. You had your casters that were like, trying to get people hyped up from like cool plays or like good RNG of like stunning the monster or setting up like some cool combo to like pin it down longer and stuff like that. When it comes to the tournament that I was talking about, it was basically you got a lot of limitations on what you could use, like a lot of limitations on what you could use, and then you just competed with each other and you saw who could get the best time on the deck. Like it was a specific monster, very tight rule set, and you just go, you basically put it on YouTube, you link it to them, and whoever gets the fastest time wins. And there's leaderboards for this kind of stuff that's online. None of it's like really in your face. Like if, a lot of people who play Monster Hunter probably don't even like really like invest themselves in learning about like the leaderboards of like the best speedrunners, because like it's not the main focus of the game. And I'm okay with that. Perfectly okay with that. But for the people that do respect the speedrunning, then it's definitely like a big thing to them and like they're all about it. Because to a lot of us that do speedrun or like want to get better at speedrunning, there are discords for it. There's like a lot of Twitters for it. I mean, mainly you just talk to everyone in Discord about it, and it's just and besides the challenge of speedrunning and the satisfaction of like, I had this, you fight a boss, the boss takes you 10 minutes to kill. But for some reason, you challenge yourself to see how fast you can keep going, and you're shaving minutes off every time you practice it. And then you finally hit to where you just can't go even any further. Even if someone is better than you still feel proud that you got it to that far.
Right.
Like you shaved off that much time. And when you get noticed and you join in, there's a speedrunner named HCZS. Check him out on YouTube. Check him out on Twitch. Real cool guy. And he dropped in my stream, which was already insane because this is a speedrunner that I've been watching for a long time. Really respect him. He's amazing with like Charge Blade, which is my main weapon. And he dropped in my chat and he followed me. And I already was like blown away. I was like, what the fuck is happening here? Sorry. And he linked me his Discord. And I joined their Discord. And then all of a sudden, I find myself, I'm hanging out with all these speedrunners that I've watched for years, and like they're from all over the world, and it's so awesome that I get these opportunities, and like people have noticed that I could potentially like push for like these same numbers that they could, and I get invited to these Discords and stuff.
Yeah, right on. So so basically your average, your typical day for streaming, more or less consists of either maybe a speed run here and there, but mainly jumping on, basically doing boss fights, helping people out. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I mainly, well, before Alatreon dropped today, which is the newest content dropped in the free title update, was I didn't have anything left to do in the game before that because I'd grinded it so much. I was streaming and everything, like burning through to get to affiliate. So I was just trying to like get everything to make that my goal, so I didn't feel burnout.
Right.
I just felt like I could keep going for something. And so like I would normally just log on, like I'd ask anyone in chat, do you guys want to see me practice a weapon? Like, you guys, like, I would answer any questions about any weapon. Like, no one has to feel like they're annoying me. You can ask me the same question like 12 times, and that's perfectly fine because I get it. It's a hard game. There's a lot to learn. I'm super patient. Like, if you got a question, ask it because you're not going to know unless you ask. So I teach people how to use weapons. I suggest weapons for people to pick up or try, depending on what their main weapon is. I show them the best the armor sets in the game. Now, this is a kind of controversial topic, but I show them the like supposed meta builds that like everyone has done the math. Like, this will give you the most damage in the game on this one. But I also show you that. But I also don't show that it's like completely meta. Like, you can only play meta. Like, I also have like my troll meme builds that like kind of work and they're just kind of hilarious. So it's like try to appeal to the hardcore and the casual. And if you have questions, I'll answer. If you need help, I'll help. Uh, and if you just want to watch some of my speed runs, like I have a couple runs on YouTube, and a lot of the time I'll post to YouTube about. It's not super consistent because it's not my main goal. I'll just be straight up. Like it's not very consistent. So like if anyone listening actually goes to my YouTube and then wonders, Splurky hasn't posted in like a week. That's 100% common. I'm going to be real because I would rather be on stream talking to you guys and hanging out with you.
But there is a happy
sometimes
medium of
I'll
doing
wake
both.
up and I'm like, yeah, there is.
And
It's just
I'll
sometimes
kinda
you wake
touch on
up
that more later about
and
how that will
before,
help you.
yeah, but like before Elatreon drop though, like I'm gonna grind Elatreon so hard to get a good time. So like all my practice attempts will probably be uploaded. So not only me, but people that are interested in my content can watch me improve at it, which will hopefully help them see how I got better at it and improve as well. Or at least like give them a better understanding of like how each thing will like differently interact with different things. Because I plan on doing it with like every weapon in the game, like I just do. I plan on being able to do it with everything.
Right.
But before it, I just didn't like. Since I was so like starved for content, I didn't have a whole lot to do besides help my viewers. I really didn't feel that drive to push for the speed runs. But like now that thankfully Capcom has been able to give us like title updates and more DLC and content coming to the game, like especially tonight, like I'm so excited about everything and like I'm ready to go. Like now that we have a steady stream of new content coming, I'm definitely going to be posting more to YouTube because there's definitely going to be more of a like driving factor that makes me want to play.
Yeah.
So like now you'll probably see a lot more. Like you'll probably see like maybe 1 to 2 speed runs a week. Like it does take a lot of time for me to like sit down and get one that I like, or think it's like good enough that people could see where I messed up and like learn from it. But I normally do like 1 to 2 a week. I'll probably start doing 1 to 2 a week. Let me rephrase that. But there was one that just got posted today, just because I was so excited about the new content. So I was like ready to go. So there's some stuff there.
Sure, and I get that. I get what you're saying when you say that. What's I guess what do you hope to accomplish out of streaming? Like what is your end game goal? Where do you want to see yourself?
All right. I'll go pretty in depth with this. So touching on a little bit of personal stuff with it. Sometimes you find yourself having a bad day, right? And then you might like log on, you either might play a game or you'll just go watch either a personality on Twitch that's streaming and hanging out, or you might instead go to YouTube and watch someone. Like a common one would be like you go watch Markiplier or something, or like you go watch, you just like, or PewDiePie or whatever you're into. You have that content creator that helps you chill, you find it entertaining, and like you can be distracted from some things. And honestly, at the end of the day, that's what I want to do. I just want to be able to give people an escape from whatever is bringing them down or whatever is upsetting them. I want to be able to, like, at least for the hours I'm streaming, give them a break from it.
Right.
And let them relax and hang out and feel like they're hanging out with friends.
Schedule? Like what days, how long do you typically stream?
Most of the time, it's pretty set in stone. Weekends are a toss-up. Like, I normally don't stream weekends. I did stream this last weekend because I needed to not stream Monday or Tuesday. So I normally tell that ahead of time. But normally I stream around 9 p.m. to about 1 or 2 a.m., which is late for a lot of people, or early
Eastern
for a lot
time,
of people.
Correct?
But that's just the times that fit me. Yeah. EST.
Right.
But to your question about why I wanted to, that's I just want to help people escape anything that is like bringing them down to like make them happy at least for the time that I'm on. Um, for my end goal, I'm very realistic when I'm about it. If I can become a full time streamer, I'm gonna become full time streamer. If I can't and I can keep doing it like part time like I have been, I'm gonna keep doing it part time like I have been. I'm not aiming to be the next Summit or the next Shroud. I'm just aiming to make a community of like-minded individuals that just like playing games and hanging out, want to make some new friends online, and giving people a safe space to come and talk to and like express their opinion.
Right on. I respect that. So, with that being said, um, you know, whether it's on Twitch or whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, uh, when you create a profile on there, you get insights, right? Your insights basically kind of let you know how you're doing,
Yeah.
what your who your audience is, how long they watch your videos, etc. So a lot of people don't understand
Mm.
how crucial those insights play into them growing their brand or growing their community. Do you do you have an idea of what your insights are telling you? Do you have an idea of who your audience is, basically when they're tuning in, how long they tune in, and things like that?
For the most part, a lot of the people have been that like come into my stream and hang out with me have been people that like aren't even from remotely near where I am. People from Texas come in and hang out with me. People from Singapore come in and hang out with me. Um, People from Washington, I think it was, also come in and hang out with me. Like, which is like so funny to me, just because of like how different the time zones and everything are.
Hmm.
But it also works out perfectly that they do come in, since even though it's later for me, it's earlier for them. So
Well, and
it
do you
like
have a
really helps
target
out that
audience
like
in
it
mind
like
of
my
like a group of people that you want to target? You know, like, oh, I want these people watching my stream. You know, have you ever thought about that? Like, do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
Monster Hunter is definitely more of a um it's definitely more of a like Eastern, am I right? An Eastern RPG? Yeah,
Okay.
because we're Western. So it's more of an Eastern RPG, and it's like a lot less popular here. Even though Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Iceborne have gotten a lot more popular in America, it was never the most popular thing before it became like in good graphics, essentially. Like it used to have like PlayStation 1 graphics for like 13 years. And now it like looks beautiful. It's like an HD, like crazy looking game.
Hmm.
Um, so it's always more. So it was never more of an American game, honestly. So my stream schedule is like for like not like more non-American countries and stuff. I guess that's a way to phrase it. Sorry if that's
Right.
a little rough, but
No, it is what it is.
I
I
am
mean, that's your
aiming
target
for
audience.
places outside of America.
Right.
Yeah, like I'm aiming for people outside of America just because it's more popular outside of America. And
For
if I
sure.
stream during those times that work better for them, on top of working better for me, then that it just works out that way, and I get the best of both.
Yeah, 100%, and that's smart, and it's good that you're already doing that. You know, you've accepted, you know who your target audience is. If you want to be a full-time streamer and Monster Hunter is the game you want to stream, you have to appease that audience. Uh, Now, with that being said, though,
Right.
do you, other than Twitch, and you made the comment earlier that you're all about the stream game. You're constantly, when you do have time, you're on Twitch, you're streaming, creating content via Twitch. Um, and you said that you've neglected your YouTube, but other than YouTube and Twitch, what are the other social media platforms that you're on right now? Are you on Twitter? Are you on Instagram? Are you on TikTok? Like, tell me a little bit about the social platforms that you're sharing your content on.
I do have a Twitter. I do a lot of posts on Twitter. To be honest, if you want to like keep up to date with anything that I do, Twitter is the best one because that is my most used platform, 100%. Um, my Twitter, you can find me. I'm Splurky on everything, by the way. But on Twitter, my handle is Splurky Editing. On Instagram, it's also Splurky. Pretty nice that I got my like unique name everywhere, so that's like pretty good for me. I'm Splurky on everything. Find me anywhere on Splurky. Um, don't use TikTok. Don't want it. Don't need it. I don't really use Facebook all that much. I'm not completely against it. I just don't right now. I might in the future. It's definitely something I've considered, but it's not something I think I'm really focused on. I do use a lot of Twitter though. That is, I just can't express enough how much more I'm active on that.
Right.
And then if you stop by my stream, if you stop by my stream, I have all that linked in anyway. I have everything about that and the panels below my stream. I have my Twitter linked. I don't have my Instagram linked, but it's Splurky if you want to find it. I have my YouTube linked. I even have my Discord linked. Like, feel free, absolutely feel free to just jump into the Discord, hang out with us, talk to us. Like, we're good. Like, I have a lot of good people in there. We just hang out. Like, it's really wholesome. No one flames anyone. If you have a question and you ask me, then you're gonna get an answer from either me or someone else in the Discord community that we've thankfully been able to make. And it's just a good time. And you don't have to ask anyone to join. Just I put it there for you guys to join at your leisure. And by all means, pop into the Discord, talk in the Discord. We have build pages and stuff in the Discord as well. Meme pages if you want some dank memes. And my DMs are open on everything, and I really don't mind. You can DM me any questions or anything like that. I don't mind.
Well, the my job and the purpose of this podcast is to not just highlight streamers, but to also give them advice on how to market themselves, how to create a brand, and how to market and promote themselves across all the social platforms. So, I don't. What is your current? How many people do you have following you on Twitch currently? How many subscribers do you have?
I have 3 subs and 62 followers
Right on. So
right now on Twitch.
yeah, and that's just from Twitch though. That's just what you've managed to acquire via Twitch. So the reason that I asked about your other social platforms
Mhm.
is, is this, and this is an important thing for everyone listening to really kind of pay attention to is if you don't advertise on these other social platforms, you're leaving so many people on the table that would one consume your content,
Mhm.
and two, maybe the people on Twitter, or maybe the people on YouTube, maybe they're not on Twitch right now. Maybe that's not their game. So maybe they need to get your
Right.
content via those platforms. So when you're streaming, which is great, if you spend all of your time streaming, there's nothing wrong with that. Um, just keep in mind that you need to build up these other social media platforms as well. Twitch is great. YouTube is excellent.
Yeah, for
Twitter
sure.
Twitter is excellent, and it sounds like you're not neglecting your Twitter that much. It sounds like if you say that's your primary means of communication, then that's great. Instagram is also great. TikTok is great, and it maybe it's not necessarily that you don't need it, or you don't want it. You just because it is one of the most popular forms of social media right now, so it would behoove you to use it. And you just have to know that the content that you make on Twitch isn't the same content that you want to share on all those other social media platforms because all of that content is consumed differently. You have, if I get on Twitch or if I get on Facebook, even because Facebook's becoming a thing now where people live stream on Facebook, I'm consuming a different piece of content than I
Hmm.
would if I get on Twitter or I get on Instagram. I don't want to see a full video on Instagram. I want to see like a well edited, really appealing, eye-catching photo, and that's what most people want as well. And same thing with maybe Snapchat or Pinterest. So all of these platforms are great ways for you to get your content out and reach an audience that you're probably not going to reach if you're just on Twitch. Um, so with that being said, as you stream, record it. Record that stream. I don't know if you do that now or not, but record that content
I do, yeah.
because you should be posting a bare minimum of, I don't know, 100 pieces of content a day across all of your platforms. Now that seems like a lot. Trust
Mm-hmm.
me, it does. But if you think about it, it's super easy to get, if you just do one speed run of any boss in Monster Hunter, all right, you have your stream, there's one piece of content. You record it, now you have a video version of it, that's two pieces of content. If you take segments out of that video, you have three pieces of content. If you do like a screenshot of a really cool image or you defeating the boss in an epic way, that's another piece of content. If you transcribe, if you make an
Mm-hmm.
audio version of any of your videos, there's another piece of content. So off of one speedrun, you could potentially have anywhere from 6 to 10 pieces of content. And again, you can manipulate that content to put it out onto these other different social media platforms and help build your audience and help build that community that you really want. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just thought you cut out there for a second.
No. I was giving you time to see if you were going to say anything. But does what I say make sense to you? Do you understand,
You good?
like how all of that stuff works?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So moving forward, as you continue to help develop your stream, what are some streaming events? And when I say streaming events, do you have any scheduled speed runs or uh, anything that's specific planned for the future for your consumers to view?
Well, right now, um, once we're done with this podcast, I'm going straight back to helping not only myself but my viewers in groups. Like I'm hosting a lobby, uh, and then I'll have like people who want to come in and like hunt with me to get Elatrion stuff like that, or anything you're missing. We'll be doing that um, either tomorrow's stream or the streams after that. We will be going back. I will be going to a. So before I didn't stream with webcam, and I didn't really stream with mic either. I just kind of streamed my gameplay, had some music, and kept going because that was my comfort level at the time. Since then, I've turned the webcam on. I've turned my mic back on for the Elatrion speedrunning to save one, to save my own tilt first off, and to save myself a little bit of hassle for editing since I'm my own editor as well as everything else. I will be going back to no cam, no mic, straight up. Like when you drop by my stream, you're gonna be watching someone try hard speed run, like trying to speed run Elatrion. Like once I have everything, once we all like as a community, once everyone figures out, like what is the best strat to do for Elatrion, like how does he work, what is he weak to, what is the best thing we can do. I'm going to take those concepts and run with them, and then we're going to try to get a top. I'm going to try my best to get a top kill speed on Elatrion solo, because we know it's possible. We know it's very well possible because people are soloing it right now. But I want to be one of the best people to solo it, and that's the aim. That's what I want. I'm going to work really hard to get there, and that's what we're moving forward with. Moving on. So there might be days that I'll like tell chat either in Discord or Twitter, or I might just like tell them before I end the stream that night that tomorrow isn't going to be speedrun day. Tomorrow might be like a chill day just for me to like recover, relax, not always have that pressure on me during stream to like one, perform well, not only for myself and for chat to enjoy to watch, but also, to get that top time, to get noticed and all that stuff. But like sometimes, you just want to have that refresher day. So we'll go back to like having the casual hunts after that. But if I had to assume, which is subject to change because again, this is based off me and my mental for the fight and everything. Like I don't want to burn myself out on anything. I don't want to burn myself into the ground with like continuously doing something that I'm just struggling with. Like I want to be able to like pace it out. I would definitely say starting on the 10th to about the 15th, expect those two, all 5 days to be no cam, no mic, hardcore speed running on Alatreon. Because for these next 2 days, with people dropping in chat or people hanging out, I'm just experimenting with everything right now. I'm seeing what's the best, what's the worst, and once we figure everything out, from the 10th to the 15th, that's going to be the try hard time, and we see if I can get there.
And you're going to record all those videos, whether they're successful or failed attempts, and you're going to use that for potential content, right?
Possibly. And the speed run community works a little different because content. So like let's take Let's Plays for an example, right? Because from the outside looking in, that's what a lot of people would assume you'd use that for, right? You post a failed attempt, like I need to learn from this, but. And the way that the community works for speedrunning is if you didn't kill the monster skillfully in a good amount of time, then you can share that. You can 100% share that, or you could try to make it into like a funny compilation of like best and worst moments of that time. But just sharing a run that ends in a fail, a lot of people aren't going to be interested in that at all because you're already fighting with the top dogs here. So like I'm already fighting with, for example, Yin Yin and HCZS, a Cantor Rex. Go check them out on Twitter and on YouTube and Twitch. All their names, all the same on every platform. Check them out. They're great people. But you're already competing with these top dogs to even get noticed, right? Like you're competing with them to get the attention and get people to like see like, hey, this guy's pretty good. Like I kind of want to hang out with this guy and like see if I can learn some things.
Well, don't get me
And
wrong.
then if you post something of like you lose,
right, yeah, and
then it's like
don't get me wrong.
I don't want to
I'm
see
not
that.
saying that. I'm not saying that you post every single thing that you record. Like you said, a failed speed attempt. If it's just that, then it's not very entertaining to watch. But if you record it and then there's a 10-second window in that can be used for comic relief or it can be used for something else, it's definitely worth saving and editing into either like you said, a compiled list of video segments of the best and worst attempts, or maybe it's a 10-second that you put on. There's your TikTok. Maybe it's a 10-second, you add some music, some funny sound effects. There's your TikTok, your little TikTok video. Um, and don't think that you have to be the best to be successful because you don't. The best, the highest paid, the most viewed streamers aren't always the best. They're the most entertaining. Now, you ultimately have to do what makes you happy when you stream, but you don't have to be the best at what you're doing. You just have to be entertaining. And I think that's where a lot of people get caught up is, especially with the whole producing content thing, is they don't want to produce bad content. Well, that's kind of relevant only to the person, because what is bad content? You get what I'm saying? Like what you might think is bad, someone else might think that it's the greatest thing ever. So, as far as spamming content or just producing content for the sake of content, I would argue that it's kind of like publicity. You ever heard that saying, any publicity or bad publicity is better than no publicity? And it's the same with content, is even if it's bad content, but it's entertaining, you got to make stuff that is appealing to your consumers and not necessarily just for you. You're already doing what you want to do, and you're streaming, and your ultimate goal is to build a community and to have people just clock in and just hang out and chill and watch you stream, that's what you're ultimately wanting. So you got to throw a couple, you know, as Gary Vaynerchuk says, if anybody listening knows who that is, he wrote a book called Jab, 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 Right Hook. And he said
Mm-hmm.
you gotta throw a couple jabs, and the jabs are providing content that's not necessarily for you, but for your fans. And then that right hook is okay. You've given them some jabs, and now it's time to finish them off. You got to throw that right hook. You gotta step up, and now your right hook is your turn to ask them to do what you want. So if you keep producing content that's
Mm-hmm.
for them, eventually you're going to get to where you want to be, and that's just having that chill community. So keep all of your content, and then go through it and be like, okay, think of it critically but with an open mind, and be like, okay, what can I use this for? It can I use this, period. And don't be hard on yourself, because like I said, if it's funny, if you can make it funny, then do it. Because
Yeah.
unless you are the big dogs that have already established themselves and they have thousands of people tuning in every time they go live, you're gonna have you can't beat them at their own game. Not yet. You gotta first get you know, you gotta learn to crawl before you can walk, and then you gotta walk before you can run, and et cetera, et cetera. So, you know,
Mm-hmm.
keep your content, review it, make what you can out of it, and make the content for the people. Because in the end, then you'll be able to get what you want. And as long as you're passionate about it, and as long as
Mm-hmm.
you put in the time, you're going to get there. But that's the thing. You just got to be willing. It's not instantaneous. It's not going to happen overnight. You got to put the effort in, and you got to utilize all your platforms. The number one rule of marketing, okay, it is identify your target audience, and then
Mm-hmm.
you have to meet your audience where they're spending the most of their time. So it's going to benefit you to figure out, are the majority of people that um, that consume Monster Hunter content, you need to figure out where they are. Are they on Twitch? Are they on YouTube? Are they consuming that content on Facebook? Are they consuming that content on Twitter? You got to find out where they are, and then you got to give them what they want.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
I feel that.
So, Stephen, we've covered what your what your stream is like. You know what you stream, what your future what you want your future in streaming to be like, and we kind of touched on a couple of games that other than Monster Hunter that you stream, and a couple potential candidates for streaming in the future. Let me ask you this: I
Mm-hmm.
know for a fact you have a love-hate relationship with League of Legends. Would you ever consider streaming
That's putting it lightly.
League of Legends, even if you're not going full on, you know, competitive, but maybe for more of a just a chill comic relief type of stream?
Absolutely not. Because honestly, honestly, I like playing League. I do. Even though I hate it as much as I love it, I don't hate the game because of the game. And this is going to come off harsh, but not enough people say it. And I'm just going to say it. I don't hate the game because of the game. I hate the game because of the people who play the game. Just straight up. Like, I get it. It's competitive. You're in a team game. You're 5v5. And when you're winning in League, it's so fun. And when you're losing in League, it feels so awful. And you just want to go next. Like, you just feel like you're wasting your time. I get that. I really do get that. I get that motivation. I get that drive. I get that personal want to win. But when you bring toxicity into it, then I absolutely don't want to mess with that because there's no reason for it. There's absolutely no reason to put someone else down because they're having a bad game. Some horror stories I have is I'm a jungle mid main. So I already have the worst two roles in the game for getting flamed by people. Oh joy. So I'm jungling, right? So for people who don't know, when you're the jungler, you're efficiently and effectively the team leader because all control on the map, all map pressure, all objective control comes from you. You can't mess it up. It's on you. Um,
Oh, you
and
can
your
definitely
team will
mess it
blame you
up.
for everything, even if it's not your fault. Well, yeah, you can mess it up and you can play bad, but anyone could. If you don't play perfectly every single game, you're always going to get that guy who blames you. And even if you literally are playing well, if they make one mistake, it's all of a sudden your fault, which is
Right.
whatever, because that's what the mute all reference is,
Hmm.
what the mute all is for. But here's
Thank
my
God for
issue with
that
mute all
feature.
being the answer is those people shouldn't have the attitude to need to be muted. And that is exactly why I cannot stream that game. That is exactly why I cannot invest more of my time to enjoy the game because I just can't right now, especially with how Riot has been handling uh, so many of the people causing this toxicity. I'm sure we all know the meaning at this point of run it down since how League is so popular. So before season 10, a lot of people respected the game and a lot of people respected each other. Now you had a lot of bad apples because League and Overwatch, I know specifically, have like some of the most toxic communities you could talk to. Let's just be real. And I don't want to be involved in that community, so I stay away from it. I'll play it with friends, but I stay away from it for the most part because I don't want to be around toxicity. That isn't fun. That's not good on anyone's mental, and it's not good that the company doesn't do anything about it because the players don't respect the company and they don't respect the game right now. They just don't. If they did, they wouldn't be toxic. If they did, they wouldn't flame. If they did, they wouldn't literally make the game unwinnable, ruining the game for 9 other players. And it's because of this that I just cannot ever see myself streaming League of Legends ever.
You know,
I
it's
don't want.
it's
I want people to
funny.
come in the chat to have fun. I don't want chat.
What I was
I
gonna
don't
say
want chat to
was,
come in and
it's
see me just
funny
get angry
because you can
because someone's
tell.
making me mad.
Right. Yeah, you can tell, like, from the moment you went on your tangent about League of Legends, your entire voice just changed. It went straight to, like, you went from being happy to just straight pent up aggression and anger talking about League of Legends.
Honestly, I just gotta be real. It's not even aggression and anger you guys hear. It really isn't. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. It really isn't anger and aggression you guys hear. It's just fucking disappointment. I'm so incredibly disappointed in the player base. One for just not understanding how to treat another human being. Um, and for the company not understanding that, hey, you might lose a couple players, but for the majority it'll be better if you just ban people who are this toxic. um,
You know, it's a
I like to
disappointment.
talk about something super deep and heavy for a second, if you don't mind.
Oh, nope, go for it. Go for it.
If you don't mind me doing this. So this is super deep and heavy, but Wreckful, if you knew the streamer Wreckful, he played World of Warcraft primarily from what I knew and what I would watch of him because I loved watching his arenas. He was one of the first gladiators, right? Man was a legend. And just, with this past news, he took his own life. And I'm not going to touch on a lot of it because I wasn't close to Wreckful. I just watched his streams a few times when I was growing up playing WoW. I thought he was an amazing player. Really loved watching him play arenas because would make these plays and I'm like, dude, that's so insane. How does he do that? Then I try it and I just couldn't do it. He was just on another level of good, and he was such a nice guy. He was so nice to everyone all the time on his stream. So nice. But people would just be so toxic to him and say all these terrible things, and it's like, I don't think a lot of streamers and a lot of people understand that, sure, you're anonymous on the internet. You're anonymous, and you could say some edgy dark joke and no one will ever know it was you. But because you can do it does not mean that you should do it, and you should not do it. And if those kind of jokes come into your mind and treating people like that badly comes into your mind, that like making someone feel like less of a human is how you deal with your problems, then by all means, I'm not saying this to like make anyone angry or make anyone feel like I'm poking fun at them in any way. But if you genuinely feel that way, then like please seek counseling. And like I'm not saying that as like trying to be mean. I'm not saying that as flaming anyone. Like I'm saying that as the bottom of my heart, worrying about people. Seek counseling, because that's not okay and that's not healthy. And that is exactly the kind of community that League of Legends has made. That is the exact community that I do not want in mine whatsoever. I do not want that near me whatsoever, because that type of energy is just wrong. How are we gonna have hope in the future generations when you can make jokes about someone taking their own life and feel nothing? Like, how do you tell that to someone and it mean nothing to you? And then, how do people feel now that told Retful these things? We're trolling him like that in chat, and now he's gone. And now he is gone. We lost one of my favorite content creators, and for what? Like, you can't delete how you make someone feel. You can write these messages, they can take them down. You can stream and say these things, and the company can take them down. But what you can't take down is how badly you hurt someone. And if that person isn't here anymore, like, do they learn anything? Like, do they take anything away from it? And I know that's like a super, really huge like topic, and it's like really dark, and it's really like depressing, but it is a truth that a lot of people aren't really grabbing at, because a lot of League streamers do this as well. Like, from what I've seen, like a lot. Hashinshin, we all know Hashinshin, super top, everyone trolls him and everything, but he made a really good point. He made a very good point that a lot of streamers don't understand that just because you're on the internet doesn't mean you can say whatever you want. Because a lot of people say these things and they call their teammates dogs and stuff. And it's like, if you said that to me and we were in the same room, I'd fight you. I would fight you if you insulted me like that. And because of the toxicity of all these big streamers, no, they don't type it to the teammates, and no, they don't say that in game, but you're telling that to thousands of people that are watching these big streamers, and it makes them think that that's okay, and that's just furthering the toxicity. And until the bigger voices really stop this toxicity spreading and like make it so aware that we need to like be kind to each other, it's going to be an issue that will slowly infect every gaming community and just every community in general. 2020 is going bad enough, and we don't need to be bringing each other down, especially during like all these times. So like, I just don't get it. I really don't. Like, I don't understand how people could say things like this on the internet and think that it's okay. Just because, they don't know where I am, or like just because you have this anonymous account, it doesn't mean be an asshole. It doesn't mean disregard human emotions. And it doesn't mean put someone else down to make yourself feel better. Like, just be kind to each other. Because, especially now where, there's all this social distancing and there's less human interaction, and like we're needing to do more talking through the internet. And gaming has been like a big social thing. Like, you socialize more through gaming and talking to people, especially right now, than anyone ever has, because you can't just go out and do things because of like the risk of corona and whatnot. And instead of taking this time to like better yourself and like better like talking to people, you're just putting people down, and that has absolutely no place in my life. And League of Legends and this past season has gone so deep into that rabbit hole that so many players just ruin your day. In one game, you might have an amazing game, you might do well, your team might be nice to you, like you'll even get into the after game lobby and the enemy team will compliment you, and you'll be like, hey, GG, and they're like, no, you guys played well, good job, friend. And then you go into the next game and all of a sudden everyone hates you, and it's like that in my opinion will completely kill that game unless Riot Games takes the appropriate actions and starts just permabanning people. And once those people finally see that, people aren't accepting of that behavior anymore, they could potentially like reach out to people and get the help that they need to understand that that's just not okay. And I really do hope that a lot of communities and a lot of people start cracking down on people about this kind of mentality that you can say whatever you want on the internet, because while you can, while you can, it does not mean that you should.
Well, I think you're spot on with toxicity and in League of Legends, but I think that toxicity goes across all platforms really, and across just about any game that you can play online with anyone else. Um, and I definitely
Yeah, all
have
team games will have their
experienced,
spur of toxicity.
sure, and I have experienced and know exactly what you're talking about as far as League of Legends goes. Um, and at the end of the day, it's probably just because they're stuck in silver and gold and they can't get out of it. Uh, because if you pay attention to like where all of these toxic people are coming from, I would say a good majority of them are in gold and silver, and that it plays a lot of to other things because that is where like gold and below is where like I don't know like 75-80% of all League of Legends players reside. So of course you're going to have more people that are toxic in those elos, but you definitely notice it more in those lower elos. Um, and I think that contributes to why they're still
Well,
in
sure,
those elos
because
is because they get tilted off the face of the earth and they fall out of their chair and they're unable to one play their lane and two they can't work as a team in one of the biggest team games there
well, I
there
think
there
that
are.
falls back on the creators again.
Yeah, but I mean you can't
I
blame the
do think that
creators
falls back on
full
the
heartedly for
big
that
dogs.
because I mean or they can't just ban every account.
But we need to like they can't ban every account or the game would be dead because everyone's toxic at some point. But I honestly do think that as a community we can hold the top, like the most popular players as an example,
Well, yeah, popular
because
players, yes, because I mean,
Danny
if
Shifter,
they're on stream making
let
a bad impression, then yes, you're 100% right. But you can't blame the developers of the game for that because they have
well,
no
no,
say.
I would never blame Riot for it. I wouldn't blame Riot for people having shit attitudes, but I mean, I do blame Riot for not giving them 1 week bans or chat restricting them, because let's think, like, it's easier to list the positive streamers than it is to list the negative ones, because so many people will flame so many people all the time, like on stream. Like the biggest, like when I think of like the biggest number league streamers, every single one of them is incredibly toxic. And they might not say it in game to where it would be recorded, but they'll say it to chat. And then chat will learn that mentality. And then chat takes that mentality and chat starts taking that mentality into their game. And if we don't stop where toxicity can be spread because it becomes a norm, then how is it going to ever stop? It's
Well,
not.
well,
It's
here's
not
the
going to
here's the
ever
thing
stop.
about trying to stop the
And we do have to
toxicity.
take bigger content. Well, we do have to take the bigger content creators like accountable for some, not all. Keep in mind, I'm saying this right now. Not all. Not all content creators are negative. I'm a cutie pie, Shifter, Void Boy, amazing. They're so nice. They're so positive. And for the most part, they're so chill. They have very, very rare moments of when they get toxic. Very, very rare. But then you look at creators like Tyler One or Yasuo or TF Blade, and they just call their teammates dogs, like dogs, or useless, or call them brain dead. And they're the most popular ones on the platform, reaching hundreds of thousands of people. And you're teaching hundreds of thousands of people, not only people, but let's be real, League and these streamers mainly go for a younger demographic. So we're now teaching the younger people to be toxic and assholes to everyone because they're not, because other people aren't doing something their way, and it's giving this spoiled like mentality to them that if things aren't going their way they can just insult people and feel better, and that's not okay. And so many, and I've seen Voy Boy post Twitter videos talking about this, and I agree. Like, you cannot, you can't. So, like, and I understand where a lot of things come from because it's like, well, you can't blame the streamers, but you can't blame the community, but you can't play the company. Well, we can, because you have to consider this. The company isn't punishing the toxic players. The toxic players are coming from toxic streamers, and toxic streamers are getting supported by players who just pick up their mentality. So I really think until the top streamers stop being toxic, and I know that's like so hard to do in a competitive team game, but until we get people to slowly weed out the toxicity, League isn't ever going to be a game that you can just go chill with and play with your friends and be casual and hang out, because you're just always going to have the people roasting you. And there's a bad egg in every batch. There just is. But we don't have to always have so many. When the bad egg in every batch becomes a bad dozen every couple cartons, that's when things start getting really bad. And that's where we're at right now. And it is like that in most communities. And like, that's why I don't support toxicity in my chat. I don't support toxicity in my community. And I'm very stern when I've told people, like, if you're toxic, you're out. Like, I have a no bullshit rule. Don't be mean to each other. Be nice to each other. There's a difference between being an asshole and just bantering. If you're just bantering and we know you're just joking, like, haha, whatever, you're good. You're good to go. But once you start like tearing into someone and you're just being like a jerk, I'm gonna DM you in my community. I'm gonna see what's up. Like, you might just be having a bad day. But toxicity has absolutely no place in my community. And I don't think I'm the, like, I don't think my opinion is the know all be all right answer. Right? Like, I don't think that is the know all be all. I don't think that I know everything, but I do know that if the bigger people that have the most influence actually use their voice and use their platform to spread a positive image instead of this toxicity, people would be amazed at how much better these communities would become. But like, but you see how I mean this, though, right?
No, I
How they like
completely I completely understand what you're saying.
how
But I think trash talking though has been
yeah.
around. I mean, you're not going to get rid of it. It's never going to go away. Now,
Well, no, but you can get rid of how bad the internet takes it, though. I'm gonna reference a chat. I'm gonna reference a clip from Retful's Streamlets. So Retful, he did a very hard thing to do, and he started talking about his, like, I'm gonna leave this as vague as possible because I don't want to get too far into that. But like, he started talking about like his mental health and everything, and all of a sudden, chat started telling him to kill himself, thinking it was a joke. I'm sorry, but that is not net and never should be a joke to anyone ever.
no, and different people.
There is
You don't know what other people's
no
mental
excuse.
states are when you're telling them to do this. A lot of people, there are a good portion of gamers who may seem perfectly fine and can take any trash talk you give them, but it affects different people differently. Uh, Depression's a real thing. People suffer from it. You could say the wrong thing that would, kind of trigger them, and then you end up with people. It just they don't talk about it. They don't have therapy. They're not on medication. They really don't have any way to deal with it. And then over time it builds up, and you get these tragic incidents where people end up taking their own life. So I definitely understand what you're talking about when you bring this up. Um, I just think that you shouldn't let that affect you too much because you're fighting a battle that, I mean, you can, for your community, you can totally make that happen because you can control what people say, who's a part of your community, so on and so forth. But as far as just the general world of gaming goes, That's a battle that I just, you know, there's always going to be toxic people. There's always going to be people that, are trash talking. That's been around since competitive gaming has been a thing. Now, once you get to a certain level in competitive gaming, I did an interview today with a professional, well, not professional, semi-professional Call of Duty player, and once you get to that upper echelon of competitive players, there is a mutual respect that you have earned, and you don't really kind of get that trash talk anymore. But just for generic public matches, it's always going to be there.
Yeah, I I get that, but like
But that's your brand, though, bro.
the only thing I'm trying to convey to
Like that's you. Like if
yeah,
that's
but
what
like
you want to do, that's your brand. Go through with it 100% because you'll get a following and you'll grow a community based off of that attitude, and there's nothing wrong with that. Um, but like you say, I completely understand and I agree with you 100%. And if that's what you wanted to do, especially with your community, make sure you go for it 100%.
yeah, exactly. And if I ever did become a big streamer, I can only hope that like even if it's just for the Monster Hunter community, maybe the Dark Souls community, just as long as it influences someone somewhere to like understand that you don't have to be toxic to be funny. You don't have to be toxic to just say your opinion.
Right.
Like I don't know. I just want people to understand it's not so hard. It's not hard to be nice to each other. It's not hard to care about each other. And when people tell you to care about others, we're like, I'm not asking you to take your jacket off and throw it over a puddle and let someone walk across your jacket so they don't get their shoes wet. Like, I'm not asking you to break your back. I'm just asking you not to put people down. That's all.
Yeah, and
And I
that's
don't think that's
that's
a lot to
reasonable.
ask.
I mean, it's reasonable. It's not a lot to ask. And like I said, you have more ability to control that within the community that you build because it's your community. So, it is in essence your image. So you define it, you build it, you sculpt it the way that you want people to view you. Because like you say, people will associate you with your actions. If I say Tyler 1, what's the first thing that pops in your mind?
Machine gun meme noise.
Okay. If I say ninja, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Wow, nothing.
Me too. No,
Probably
that's of
the
course.
commercial he did where he told Red Bull he loves him. I don't
Yeah.
know. Probably that
I
one.
don't know. For me it's his crazy hair. He's always got a different color hair, it seems like for every stream that he does. That's his brand. If people hear Splurky and you want them to
Yeah.
associate that with, a caring community and a community that stands behind its players and backs them 100% always, every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a
And a
year,
long haired, chiseled ginger man.
and a long, well, you still got long hair anyway. That's the community that you want to build. Like
Absolutely, I still have long hair.
that's what you want to go for. Do you keep it in a bun?
Hmm?
Do you keep your hair like pulled up in a bun?
Sometimes it's just down tonight,
We should
but
get
most of the
you.
time I do.
So here, think of it
When
like
I'm
this.
serious, it goes in a bun.
Monster Hunter is a. You said it's an Eastern game. That's kind of like it's big in Japan, I would say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is what you do. Have you ever seen Avatar, the cartoon?
Yes.
So what you do,
I've seen some of it. I have a
so
very unpopular opinion about this, so I'm not going to say anything.
that's okay. I don't want to hear it. It's Avatar. It's great. Anyway, the we're gonna get your hair. We're gonna put it up in a bun, right? And we're gonna get you one of those little like Japanese Oriental little like fire bending thing. that all the royalty
Kimono?
wears. No, no, not a kimono, but yes, yes,
I
a
mean,
kimono because
I'd wear a kimono.
you should wear a kimono. That should be your brand. You should be the ginger with a long hair ponytail who wears a kimono when he streams. I would watch that. I
I'm a
don't. You could,
stalker of a
dude. You could sit.
kimono.
You could sit. You could go to Walmart. Get your kimono, order it off the internet. Go to Walmart, get one of those fireplaces that you plug into the wall, and you could do a stream where it's nothing but you sitting in front of that fireplace with that kimono on, and I would watch it for hours. That's your brand. That's your brand. Right now, I'm giving you my professional
uh,
and personal
there it
advice.
is.
Buy the kimono.
All right, I got you. I got you.
Like that
Maybe
is.
after summer when it's not so hot.
No, no, no. You got to sweat in that kimono, baby.
Got to power through it.
You got to power through it.
Got to power. Got to commit.
That kimono
Gotcha.
should
Gotcha.
be
Ordering kimono right
a
now. Don't worry.
sweaty rag by the time you're done streaming.
That sounds absolutely disgusting.
It might be, but it's going to get views. I'm telling you.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong.
But so
Who knows?
one more thing
Maybe
that I
you'll
want to
stop by
touch
and
on.
see me
One
then.
more thing that I want to touch on before we conclude this podcast is how
All right.
amazing the game Too Human was.
Wait, what was that? I didn't hear.
I said how amazing the game Too Human was.
Boy,
And for those of you
listen.
listening that have no idea what
That
Too
game.
Human is, I feel really sorry and you've missed out. You need to go buy an original Xbox
That
360, buy the
X.
game, and play it because it's going to change your
Yep.
life. It really is.
That was that was. Oh man, okay. So me and Two Human went to a flea market, right? Random flea market. Dad just were out and about. Saw this game. I wanted a new one. Asked him if he'd buy it. He bought it for me. We're kids at the time because it's an old game, Xbox 360 and whatnot. And get home, play it. It's just, oh man, god, it was so good. Like you pick your character, and then like you don't like, but you gotta like work for everything. Is what made it so satisfying. Like you gotta find the blueprint, then find the stuff for the blueprint, and then you make it. And like once you get it, and it's like so much better than what you had. You just had this like, you felt like you earned it instead of like, oh, you killed the boss. Did you get it? No. All right, kill it again. Instead, it's like, nah, dog, get this, go build that, go do the thing. And it's like, all right, man, I'm going to go do the thing, but I'm going to go do it better now.
Right? Like, it was kind of like World of
And
Warcraft in the sense you had to
you
grind for
think
the
it would be
better
like a
gear.
one-time playthrough.
Oh, no. Yeah, once you beat it once, you just play it
Yeah.
again and again and again. And it didn't help that they had
Yeah.
online leaderboards
Yeah, you
that
gotta
kept
try
track
out every
of
single
like
character too.
all of the monsters that you killed. So you could go to like goblins on online
Yeah.
leaderboards, and it tells you how many goblins you killed and where you rank compared to everyone else. Like, it was a good game. It was a good game, and whoever made it, they
That
missed a grand
it
opportunity for
it really got
a
me to try
follow up
games.
for Too Human 2. Like, come on now.
If they dropped a sequel to Two Human right now, if they dropped it right now, I'd stream it every day I wasn't playing Monster Hunter. Straight up.
Oh, dude, if they dropped it right now, look,
Two Human sponsor me.
whoever made it, share this podcast or snip this part out, share it, send it directly to the people that developed Too Human. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you drop Too Human 2, I will stream it every single day, at least for an hour, maybe even 2 hours a day for the rest of my gaming career. That was the best game. That
And
was
a
just like a
kimono.
basic son, don't even get me started on that kimono. But yes, in a kimono, and I will love every minute of it.
I'd stream it right now. Like, God, that's so many. Dude, I'm gonna go buy an Xbox 360 tomorrow.
I would.
I'm
just
gonna
to
go
play
buy
that
Two
game.
Human.
Yep.
I'm gonna go do it now. I mean, how much is an Xbox 360 now? Like 50
I don't know.
bucks?
I was gonna say probably like 20. I don't know, 30, 20 or 30. You could probably go to a flea
I
market and get it
got
for
to
like
now.
20 or 30.
The fucking nostalgia directly into my veins.
Every bit.
As soon as you said too human, nostalgia directly into my veins.
Complete mood change. It was like worse. It was like real deep and heavy, and then all of a sudden,
100%.
Too Human was mentioned, and it's just like happy kid running in a green grassy field
Damn,
with little
boy!
birds talking to you.
That's a
Like
thick boy, boy!
easy, that could be a little pedophilish. Anyway,
Oof.
moving forward. Um, yeah, that's I think that'll make for a good convo, a good podcast. I just want to say thank you, Stephen, for taking your time, especially on your stream, to sit down and do this podcast with me. I hope that along our journey
Yeah, man.
today,
Thank you
you
for
know, it
having
was
me.
definitely meaningful, um, especially since you were able to get that point across. And I think it was really important for you to do that because, you know, it kind of shows everyone listening kind of who you are as a person and who you are as a content creator and you know, ultimately what you want to gain. So, you know, thank you for sharing that. And,
Hmm.
you know, go ahead
Yeah, of
and
course.
give everyone a shout out again. Let them know what your social media handles are. Let them know what time you stream, the days you stream, and for everyone listening, all of Steven's social media handles and you know his Twitch, his YouTube, his Twitter. It's all going to be in the comment section for you to easily click on it and go like it. And again, Steven, just go ahead and reiterate. Let us know what those handles are again.
All right. If you want to catch me on YouTube, it is Splurky. If you want to catch me on Twitch, it is Splurky. If you want to catch me on Twitter, it's at Splurky Editing. On Instagram, it's Steven _Splurky _Perkins. Um, that's all for those. Again, if you want to join the Discord and talk to anyone in the hunting party, which is followers, subs, I count you all as being a part of my hunting party. If you want to talk to any of us at any time, go over to twitch.tv/Splurky, scroll down to those the tabs under my channel, and feel free to click that Discord link, that Discord invite link. Feel free to join the server. Feel free to talk to us. Again, I love my server. I love the people that like spend their time hanging out, hunting with each other, just like enjoying the game together, or just enjoying talking to each other because we just go off on random stuff sometimes. It's like you'll have a lot of fun. There's a lot of great people there, and we'd love to have you.
Right on. Well, brother, again, I appreciate you taking the time out of your night to do this with me. I enjoyed it. And if you need anything,
Yes, sir.
whether it's media advice, whether it's content, you need help producing content, or you need help editing content, I'm always available. All you got to do is give me a shout out, and that's it.
Much appreciated. Will do.
All right. Have a safe night. Enjoy it. Peace.
Thank you, sir.